I've been thinking. I do that sometimes. Still doing it. Just a second. Like I said, Joyce Bold, I've been thinking. I do that sometimes. Just a second. All right, just a second. Shit, woman, quit thinking so hard. All right. I've been doing an investigation, a query, so to speak, for you simpletons. Yeah, right, Mike Johnson. Come on in. You are the subject of my investigation, you see. Let's pull up a seat, shall we? Yeah, I got your pig right up my ass. I'm about to pull it out, eat it, and then stuff it down your goddamn throat, you fuck. And that's just hors d'oeuvre. I've been doing an investigation on pig asses. That was a blink you saw just then. Let me show you the replay. I'll do it in slow motion. That's the last one you'll see for a while. Anyway, now, I only have four of these things. So I have limited knowledge available to me, you see. I can't really dig into things such as asses of pigs who happen to work for someone that I know. You work for someone I know. You fuck. New. Not brand, but new. You'll get it if you think about it. If not, you don't need to be watching me right now because you don't get anything. Henry. I used to call him Chuck. But he just giggled when I called him Chuck because we talked about chunking wood a lot. Henry Ford. No, I'm not going to say that. That's what I was going to tell you in the private message. Say it. No, because you'll bug me forever to say it. I won't say it ever again. No, pig ass motherfucker. You work for Chuck. Yes, you do work for Chuck. I know. I knew Chuck. I helped him with the motor. I don't remember exactly about how I influenced him to quiet it down just a little bit and to make the crank a little more efficient. You know, on the A, well, some of them are called T's, but they were the AA, the big A, and then he put a little A. Did you ever see that? So Chuck Henry, should I just call him Henry so you know who I'm talking about? You know, Ford? Some people call him Mr. Some call him Blinken, Mercury, something like that. Shut the fuck up, goat ass. You want to watch me do what? God, you're sick. Is Big Jeff on? No, he's not on. I don't do Big Jeffs. I don't give a shit how big he is. He can point it somewhere else and let it go off. Just not in my direction. I don't do volume of chunky, milky, creamy stuff. You point that somewhere else. Shit, dude. Somewhere else. Now, what was I reprimanding you about? Is that your diversion tag? Oh, yeah. Chuck. Chunky Chuck is what he giggled. Henry. Ford. Come on, the crank and the little piston problem he had. Now, Tom was the dickhead. Edison. They lived next door to each other. We used to have parties. That dickhead had he had a lab right there next to Ford. You know, his summer home. Right. I guess I shouldn't be talking about this. I mean, it's jumping through time too much for me to tell you about Chunky Chuck, man. This is what we used to talk about. I'll just give you a generality. Chunky Chuck, Henry Ford. I knew it personally. He liked Gandalf better, but he would listen to my stories. So he let me work with him on the piston and stuff. Anyway, Chunky Chuck, he did go through a little chunky period. I was husky in the 70s when I lived through that period of my soul's existence, or one of my souls. I had husky on my pants. No one would tell me anything else. And the pants that didn't say husky, we wrote them in. Because if someone tried to call me fat, I'd beat the shit out of them. I was husky, man. But so Chunky Chuck didn't mind me calling him Henry. Well, Chunky Chuck, Henry. Shit. Come on. Dude had a little problem with ladies too, so I taught him. Anyway, he had a really nice fireplace. We talk about the wood and how much Chunky Chuck could chuck, or chunk, because that's what we used to playfully call it when Henry and I Chunky Chuck, and I would throw the wood at each other, and we'd say, "Here's a woody for you." So he'd chunk it over to me and say, "Hey, well, Chunky Chuck, how much wood can a woodchuck chuck? If a woodchuck could chuck wood, but you're not chucking it very good." I said, "I probably chunk as much wood as a woodchuck could, Henry. If a woodchuck could chuck wood, that is, you're not doing too good." So anyway, you know, and then we'd start talking about the inventory of the wood that Chunky Chuck would chuck. Not too well, Henry. And a problem with women sometimes. I taught him about the technique, the one with the spot, you know, that thing you call the G spot. Anyway, so we called up Peter, but he told us to call Sally because she had the packs of pickled peppers at the seashore. Well, because we needed some, because we knew that he hid in the warehouse something that we needed inside one of the packs of pickled peppers. That he did commit some type of impropriety when he placed them in the, you know, the place that you put the stuff, the warehouse that I was talking about. But Sally had the keys at the seashore, but she kept some of the pickled peppers with her. And so we went there just in case she had the bushel of packs of pickled pepper that Peter Piper didn't appropriately, you know, perform his task as the person who, you know, had the permission to count. So Sally had some extra peppers. So we went there, Chunky Chuck and I. We didn't like what we saw. We knew Peter was pulling off a fast one. He was trying to put Sally in a position of proprietorship when she really didn't have the permission needed for people to just poop on her the way they did. But Peter Piper did pick of peppers, and we knew that Peter Piper picked a peck of peppers. We just didn't know where Peter Piper put the peck of peppers that he said that he picked, and we didn't know how many he picked to begin with. So he put the pickled peppers somewhere that Sally, who sold seashells by the seashore, she does that, you know. She sells seashore shells. Come on, get it right. So she sells seashells by the seashore for Peter Piper, who places his pack, the prick, He dropped it once. It fell off into the bushel that we're looking for. So Sally sells seashells. It's the seashells at the seashore. But Peter and them and Chunky Chuck and I thought we'd go down there and just fuck with them for a little bit because it sounded funny when I said it anyway. When he tried Chucky, he'd say cheese, and I'd say, "You mean Chunky Chucky cheese?" And he'd laugh and said, "Man, somebody ought to do something with that." So Chunky Cheesy Chuck and I chunked some more wood, over at Sally. I invited Peter over, even though he didn't bring the bushel of the prickly pecks that he might have dropped his pecker into when Sally said she wasn't interested, because Sally's a beau. His name was Harry. Well, it wasn't appropriate really to call Harry Sally, who sells seashells by the seashore, her beau, because Harry was actually an ape. And he escaped. Well, that's how they met. You see, Harry, Chunky knows about Harry because we jumped through time when we talked to Ray Stevens about it, because he knew him personally, and then I met him in a time jump. Harry the Hairy Ape. He made escape from the city zoo, and he made his way through the municipal park. The Hairy Ape. Ray Stevens knew him, and so did Chunky. Well, Cheesy Chuck, who knew Sally, who's Peter's Piper's peck. This prick has got to be just puny. Anyway, so Harry's waiting in the municipal park for some sucker to come along, because he's a hairy ape and he made his escape from the city zoo. So he made his way through a municipal park, and he hid in the bushes along the path in the dark, just waiting for someone coming along in the dark. And so someone did come along, not expecting nothing. Then Harry jumped out of the bushes all of a sudden, and he beat on his chest, and he jumped up and down. And he say, "Ooh, ooh, 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 ooh." What's his hairy ape talk for? Boo! I bet I scared you. Well, man, that guy's eyes poked out and bugged out, and he hollered and he screamed. He turned around and he ran. Man, he ran so fast he didn't see where he's going. It was 3 o'clock at 2:38 in the morning, exactly, in 2 seconds. And poof, right through the municipal fence into the municipal pole, and he drowned himself. He got caught up in that wire in the fence, and the barbed wire at the top just got him to go, oh. Harry thought that was funny. He did. He's an ape. I told you. He made escape from the municipal park. Zoo. The zoo part is right next to the pool. Part of it's underground. So Harry thought that was funny. So he said, "I'm going to do that again." He did. He said, "I'm going to do that again." The ape. So he got back in the bushes. And he's waiting for somebody else to come along by himself in the dark. By now, it's like 2:51 and 36 seconds. Or so. It could have been 37 seconds, maybe 38 even. But not 39. That would be too late. So this guy comes along, not expecting nothing. But see, this guy's a little different that come along. He didn't expect nothing, because he's just bopping along like a DJ. A local nearsighted DJ, which means he couldn't really see much in front of his face except these neon shit that he had. He's a DJ, I told you, a disc jockey, local, by the hour. So here he come, not expecting nothing, and Harry jumped out of the bushes all of a sudden. Then he beat on his chest, and he jumped up and down. And he say, "Ooh, ooh, 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 ooh." What's this hairy ape talk for? Boo! Bet I scared you. Ha ha. Yeah, right. Not this time, buddy. Ooh, doggy. Harry didn't like that one. This guy didn't even glad a nod, man. He didn't. And Harry just thought, Harry's doing his thing. And, ooh, boo, bet I scared you. Ha ha. Right, that's what that means. Guy didn't even glad a fucking nod. He just stood there and he looked at Harry and he goes, don't worry, man. I'll play the record. And then he just kept on walking down the path to where, I don't know. It was dark. It was like 2:50. And every 4 or 5 steps, he'd stop and do a little mashed potato or something that was squishy. It seemed to me, my perception of reality might just be a little askew at times of sorrow we all feel when we look at Harry and see him go. So, the DJ played Harry's record. What record? Shut up! Shut up! What record? It became a hit. And Harry became a star. Some people just got to hide in the goddamn bushes and jump out and go, whoa. So now you can go see Harry. You can see him at the zoo, at the municipal zoo. He went back. And, you know, they say they go back to give back and all that shit. Well, that some bitch didn't give me back my goddamn guitar. He's got one of my Fenders, I think. It could be a Gibson. Yeah, Halibody. It's a Gibson Halibody. 1966, right? 5. I'll take a 5. 1965. And he's got my goddamn cowboy hat. My favorite one. It's 5 gallon. It's actually 6.5 gallon hat because he's a hairy ape. So you can see him at the municipal pool, and it's right next to and you can see him at the zoo. He has actually a 2-layer thing where you can see him outside. He's got a little elevator. It's funny. He's got some of the animals that have to run around in the wheel to get it to go up and down. Well, they're fans. You know, he doesn't call them friends. He says fans. He got a little too big for his hairy ape ass. So that's why we don't talk no more. He's a lot bigger than me. And I didn't want to say shut up to him, really. So you can see him at the zoo right next to where the municipal pool was, and they put the fence back up. They didn't replace it. It was kinked a little bit, and it had some stains on it that they couldn't get out. So they put some of those solo cups in there, and they made a heart, a red heart of those red cups, so you couldn't tell it was by the barbed wire. That they replaced. The section. 2 sections. It was right at one of the posts. It wasn't pretty, man. You see, it was he'd been there a couple of days. They cleaned it up. Good enough. They cleaned it up good enough. You should see it. But just ignore that part and go see Harry at the zoo. He'll sing on a swing. He'll sing his hit record for you. It goes like this. Oh, yeah. He gets all the bright lights. I'm just doing what do they call it? A cover. Huh? So his hit song is like this. Which is which is hairy ape talk.
For boo! I bet I scared you! Ha ha ha! Ciao, baby. Ah!